Okay, so what do we need to do a marriage plan requirement? Time. Time is the main thing. Give us some time, people. Come see us before you get engaged. Yeah, come talk to us before then. You can't send the prenup the day before the wedding, the week before. How much time would you say, Will? How much time do we need?
Oh boy, I think this would go longer than our typical estate planning process, and we'd need the couples to come in and sign and review. So at least a couple months, I would imagine.
Yeah. Now, I went to law school in California, so they talk about the Bonds Amendments, named after Barry Bonds. The Bonds Amendments is kind of what set the standard for a valid premarital agreement. So basically, Barry Bonds, his first wife, or I don't know if his first, or I don't think it's his current one, English wasn't her native language. And I think the wedding was in Vegas, and he had the limo driver stop by his lawyer's office. Here, sign this on the way. Plane's waiting. Everyone's waiting in Vegas.
Sounds unconscionable.
Yeah, that's obviously too short, right?
Yeah.
But actually, it held up, and that's why California, they changed the law after. It held up the first time.
Really?
That's why it's known as the Bond Amendments. They're like, wow, that's messed up. We gotta change that. So you need enough time. It's got to be in their native language, and each party has to understand it. So the only way to prove that is that each party is represented by counsel. If the other party is not represented, they could always say later, I didn't understand what I was signing.
Yeah.
Right? And case law has shown that could be a valid argument, that they could, get out of the marital agreement if they didn't understand it. So we need an attorney for each party. Mm-hmm. Here's something I learned, a lesson I learned. We were doing a marital agreement, and I was required the other party, but we didn't have a hard and fast signing date. This situation, we were already kind of pressed for time. By the time I met with them about the marriage plan, the wedding was already scheduled in like 2 months. So they already had the wedding was scheduled, but before that, they had a rehearsal dinner, things like that. So what happened is we started getting down like a week before the wedding. We had a date to sign the agreement, and it didn't happen. She just didn't show up. And then her attorneys, they went silent. And I think it's actually genius now. It's all by design, but they didn't sign it is what happened. Rehearsal dinner happened, started going through all the motions that they, were already in place. People were already coming into town, and it just didn't get signed.
Nuptial agreement, but they still need to sign it.
Right.
Post-nupts are worthless, basically. Case law has shown that post-nupts do not hold up because there's no consideration.
Right.
Because marital agreements, it's in consideration of marriage. The parties come together, in considering getting married together. So it didn't get signed. And I'd say that I think that was the move all along, that they didn't intend to sign it. So what I would say for a marriage plan is you need to schedule a hard and fast signing date. And if that date passes and it doesn't get signed, then there you go. Treat it as they are not willing to enter into the marital agreement. And then you got to ask yourself, I guess this kind of goes in the best person. I'm divorced, and single. But you need to ask these questions, early on. You need to have that conversation early. And what if the party doesn't want to sign it? Are you going to go into the relationship anyways, or you got to have, I think, a hard and fast time where you make that decision? Mm-hmm. And that's done by scheduling a signing date. And I'd say we're talking about in the office. I was saying treat it like a drug test. Like if you're scheduled for a drug test and you don't show up, then it's a failed drug test. So same result. So I'd say let's schedule a hard and fast signing date, and then if it doesn't happen by then there you go. Then don't plan the wedding. That needs to be before everyone has notice and the plane tickets are booked and the flowers are bought and all of those things.